Hi everyone, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about a sensitive topic, and it is mental health. Now, mental health is the well-being of a person's mind, so within their psychological, emotional, mental being. I think mental health really does get a bad reputation with all of the stigma and stereotypes from the media and from just like an environment you may be in. You might hear some things that are not necessarily true. Freshman high school year, I was definitely not against mental health, but like not knowledgeable about it. And I want to be here to influence people and help them and realize what really is mental health and mental illnesses. I said when I was younger, I didn't really understand what mental illnesses were. I thought crazy people only got them and it was some crazy thing, but obviously that's not true. I learned this, I said at the beginning of my freshman year. I thought I didn't have the knowledge, but then I did end up meeting people who did have mental illnesses, and I learned more about that. And I always have been anxious in my life. I've always worried. And freshman year, that definitely kicked in. But it wasn't bad. Like, it was manageable on my own. And I did see a therapist when I was a freshman, but I didn't really enjoy it, so I stopped. And then my sophomore year, I had probably like one of the best times of my life, but I still had lots of anxiety, and sometimes I'd be a little down here and there, which is like what a lot of people experience, whether you have a mental illness or not. And then junior year happened. Junior year was really tough for me. I experienced not only a lot of anxiety, but really bad depression. I've learned throughout the years that I have major social anxiety as well. So it makes it difficult for me to speak to others. And if you know me from high school or even college still, I'm very shy, and I'm not the first one to talk to people usually. But so yeah, I've had a lot of struggles my junior year with things in personal, school, family, just different things. And I went through a really, really hard time. I don't usually talk about this, but I wasn't treating myself well, to say the least. But then senior year, I tried to make that year a lot more positive, and it was okay. But the thing is, with mental illness, you can't get rid of them. You can cope with them, but you can't get rid of them. And it's awful. It's awful to think about that, and it's awful to deal with them every single day of your life. My senior year, I experienced a lot of trauma. One of my cousins, and my family is a really big, close family. One of my cousins was shot, and he died. And that really affected me a lot. And so it should, I feel like, to anyone who would experience this. And not only that, I experienced negative things with people, certain people. It was just a really rough year, to say the least. But then I met my boyfriend, Bob, and he did help me cope with a lot of my things. He respected me, and he understood. And at first he didn't really understand why I acted the way I did for certain things, but then when I say that, I mean like if I shut myself down or something like that, he would talk to me, and he would actually, want to work our problems together. Like, he didn't set it aside and just let it go, which is so important. For people who don't have mental illnesses and you see someone or know someone who has mental illness, the best thing you can do is stay there with them through everything. Having a mental illness, no matter how easy something can be, doing the smallest task for someone with mental illness can be the most struggling thing for them. Your mind is chemically imbalanced. That's what it is. That's what mental illnesses are. Your brain has chemical imbalances, and therefore you act and you can't do the certain things that you wish you could do. I experienced panic attacks my senior year of high school. That's when, actually no, I started them, I think, my junior year, actually. Yes, junior year. And, when they first began, they were very, once in a blue moon. It was usually if, something happened that triggered it. But as the time went on, the panic attacks continued and the mental health illnesses continued, and they increased. And at this time, I wasn't seeing anything. I wasn't seeking any type of help besides talking to my boyfriend. I started seeing a new therapist, and that, I feel like, did help a lot this time. My freshman year of college was definitely a struggle. It was something new to experience. It was definitely so hard on my social anxiety. So hard. I can't even explain verbally how I felt, because honestly, having social anxiety is like being thousands and thousands of feet up in the air and not necessarily being straight down looking down, but you know that feet, if you were to just take a step, you'd fall and it'd be terrible. And that type of anxiety happens when I'm in crowds or with people I don't know, or if I'm starting with something, and anxiety in general too, if I'm starting something new or if I go to a new place, that feeling happens so bad, and it's pretty tricky. So I experience different mental illnesses, that's for sure. And freshman year, I had a good amount of panic attacks that year. Some were triggered by certain things that happened in my life, or just anxiety, not controlling my anxiety, and it getting so overwhelmed that I can't hold it anymore, and my body just kind of explodes. My mind explodes. My mind's racing. I can't sit still. I'm always shaking. If the anxiety attack is very bad, I will even hyperventilate. And then sophomore year of college happened, and I met people that are similar to me, and I definitely had a better time this year than I did last year. But I still had a lot of anxiety and attacks and depression. So, why am I telling you this? There is not enough information and advocacy about mental health and mental illnesses. There are some, but I think in today's world there's too much stigma and stereotypes on life, and especially mental illnesses. And I just really want to break down those stigmas, and I really want to help and influence other people, because having a mental illness is a very difficult thing, especially if you don't have someone to talk to. And I just want everyone to know that they can always talk to me. Even though I am a very shy person, if you reach out to me, I will talk and I will help you, and I will do my best to be your support. So some stereotypes about mental illnesses are, I wrote these down. People choose to have mental illness. You're just pretending, or you're fake, you're acting out. You can't choose to have mental illnesses. They're literally a imbalance in your brain, a chemical imbalance in your brain. There are scans on the brain of different various mental illnesses versus a normal brain without any mental illnesses, and there are differences. Like, it's not something you make up, it's an actual thing. Another stereotype is that there are the same symptoms for every mental illness. You have a certain mental illness and someone else has that certain mental illness, you guys are going to have the same symptoms. But that's not true. Stereotype number 3 is it can't be treated. That's not true. It can be treated with support, seeking out for help, even medications there are, if you get prescribed by a psychiatrist. Doing things that you love a lot can help as well. One big stereotype that I thought before I had the knowledge is I thought all people with mental illnesses were crazy and different or absurd, and they did crazy things. That's not true, obviously. If you didn't know me, you'd think I don't have any mental illnesses, but I do. It can happen to any everyday person. There's a lot of stereotypes, but those are the specific ones I chose to talk about. There are also different types of mental illnesses. And like I said, people have a different perspective on life, I guess you'd say. And their minds with different disabilities and illnesses, you do not say or act the same way, and it can happen to all ages, of any gender, at any time as well. It's not, the thing about mental illnesses, it's not picky. Let me just give you some help and tips that you can receive. So like I said, you can always seek out help through a therapist or a psychiatrist. With a therapist, it's strictly talking and helping you verbally, and no medication. Psychiatrists, on the other hand, will only provide you medication. They're the only ones who can. And usually you have to see a therapist first to see if you are eligible to receive that first. And then they go you approve it with a psychiatrist, and if they agree to, then they'll provide you medication. And it's very important not to abuse your medication. Take what they tell you to take, and take it at the right times, and don't not take it or take it too much, because it's very important. And sometimes you can actually, instead of helping yourself, you can end up hurting yourself even more, and I really don't want to see that in anyone. So another thing is just finding help or seeking out support from anyone. So whether that be family, friends, boyfriend or girlfriend, or your partner in general, or even teachers. It's important to seek someone else. There's people online you can find. There's hotlines. I'm going to put a bunch of hotlines you can call and see at the end of this video. And then besides seeking help from people, there are other things you can do, like having pets. And I know not everyone can have a pet, or not everyone can buy or afford pets, and I'm sorry, but even stuffed animals are great as pets. I have a bunch of stuffed animals, and even cuddling with them makes me feel good and safe. And then if you can't have a dog or cat, but you can have other animals, and you're like, oh, but I can't cuddle with those pets. They might be like a fish or something. Those still bring joy to your life. It's great to have responsibility on other things sometimes, because it makes you feel like you have a purpose. And what you do have a purpose. And I have a pet snail, and even though it's just a little thing in the water crawling around, it makes me so happy just to look at its little tentacles swarming, and just so cute. And it does make me feel like, okay, I need to take care of him. I need to feed him, turn off his light, and it just feels good, and you feel alive. And that's so important to remember. If you have mental illness, it's sometimes so hard to believe, to feel like you're living, to feel like you have a purpose, to not. A lot of people can feel dead inside, or like just empty. So having that purpose can really help. A lot of other things that you can try are watching movies, watching TV, or even YouTube videos. There's one that I would definitely recommend to people, unless you may find it triggering for you. But this is not really. I don't think it was very triggering to watch. It's very educational and very helpful, and definitely makes you feel not alone, and really helped me as well. So it's a show that is from the United Kingdom, and it's called My Mad Fat Diary. It's about a girl who struggles with mental illness, and she does self-harm, and she lacks self-esteem. And so she sees this therapist, and she meets these bunch of people, and you just have to watch it. It's really good, really, I really recommend it. You can find it on the internet. That's how I watched all of that series. It wasn't very long of a series, but it was very helpful. Another thing to do or seek for help is make YouTube videos. I know that I've always been a quiet person, but in front of the camera I just feel good, and I just feel, even if no one watches these videos, I feel like I can express myself in a certain way, and I just really like that. And I love how YouTube is a great source for that. Another way you can express yourself is doing different types of arts or DIY kind of things. You can dance, you can draw, you can paint, you can color. Even coloring in a coloring book, I have a bunch of Hello Kitty and SpongeBob ones that I use a lot. I know when I was in high school, one thing that made me anxious yet so happy was theater and acting, so that's something you can try. Picking up a different language too is really cool and fun. It can be difficult sometimes though, but if you keep yourself going and you try really hard, it can make you really happy. I know I'm learning Japanese right now on my own. I'm teaching myself. I just bought a book, and I'm hoping that can help me more. Another thing to do is take care of your physical health. Taking care of your physical health is definitely going to help your mental health. And I know I hate to hear this all the time, but I know this is a great help and beneficial aid for people in general. Exercising. Honestly, I'm one of those people who doesn't like to exercise, and I don't like to do a lot of physical activities, but honestly, it does make you feel better, and if you keep adding it, repeating it, it's gonna only increase your happiness. And at first, you might think, oh, this is so draining, I don't want to do this anymore, but you have to keep yourself going and try it I believe in you. I need to do this myself. It is very hard. It's so hard, I feel like, to take care of your physical health and mental health too. Eating well, to eating enough, the right amount according to your BMI, as well as eating the right foods. I say you can eat like one chip or a bunch of strawberries, and that would be so much healthier than eating that chip. So making right choices with your body, even though chips are delicious and they make you feel good because they're comfort food, strawberries or other different healthy foods do taste good as well, and they fill you up better and they keep you healthy. And overall, in the moment, potato chips might make you feel good, but if you keep eating them and eating them a lot, they're only gonna affect you and make you feel drained. And eating healthy at the time, you may not like healthy food, and that's okay, because honestly, sometimes I struggle with liking healthy foods, but eating healthy foods over and over and keeping that up does make you feel so much better. More things you can do are play video games, get outside, take a walk. Okay, so there are so many more helps and aids you can look and search for. There's a bunch online, and if you ever need more advice or help, please contact me down through the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And if you think this video will help someone, please share it to them, because I just want people to be happy and healthy. So, bye. Love you.